All right, welcome to another edition of Unstoppable REI. I'm here with my buddy Stephen Neville. So here's the thing, Stephen. I mean, I know we set this up before, and you got thrown a bunch of curveballs, but we exchanged a couple of good quotes there, and I gave you one of my all-time favorite quotes from my all-time favorite movie. That's Rocky is like the all-time. That's it. And
I have
but
to agree with you,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And what I said, just in case people didn't know that, is that it's not about how hard you hit, how hard you can. Yeah, it's not about how hard you can hit, but it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And would you say that you took some pretty good hits there over the past few months, man?
This year has definitely been a challenging year. Took some
Yeah.
hits, but
Hey, you're
we
still
keep,
here
we
though.
keep getting up, man. We keep getting up, one foot
That's
in front of the other.
I love it. And you know what? And the thing about it is that so we rescheduled, and I was feeling really bad for it because it seemed like there was a bunch of stuff going on. I was like, man, dude, I hope everything's cool. And then you rose up from the ashes, hit me back, boom, hey, let's set it up again. And I was like, dude, let's do it. I mean, that was super inspiring. So anyway, I appreciate your willingness to do this again. So man, let's get into it, man. What give me your 30-second elevator pitch. Tell me how it started, your story. Tell me everything.
Man, it's a long story to kind of
Yeah.
make it 30
Hit
seconds,
me.
but
Come on,
you
hit me
know,
with it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
basically, this did a kind of the story of started from the bottom and on the way to the top.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
I never say the top because you climb one mountain, there's another mountain bigger to climb.
That's right.
There's always more growth to have. But yeah, kind of started from uh, that dirt poor, but
Yeah.
lower middle class,
Okay.
struggling paycheck to paycheck type of guy.
Yeah.
Um, had kids early, so
Okay.
a single dad taking care of
Wow.
two girls.
Nice.
Um, kept trying to be an entrepreneur, but was kind of afraid to totally go out there because I needed that security blanket to take care of the kids. And
Yeah. Yeah.
on that path, finally made the move and went full time.
Okay.
Got real estate was my avenue to kind of get me into entrepreneurialism overall,
Yeah.
which has been a wonderful journey. And now, besides real estate, I have other marketing, lead generation services.
Yes.
Get into a lot of e-commerce, nutrition, supplements,
Oh
all
man.
kinds of different things. We're
You
getting
do
into
all kinds of stuff.
apparel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how many different businesses do you have?
Right now, like the individual like LLCs is like 6 or 7.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're what do you call that? What's the term now? For we have multiple serial
Serial
entrepreneur. There you go. There you go. Serial entrepreneur. So let me ask you this, man. What is one thing that you wish you would have known when you started your career, when you started out?
Man, probably just the biggest thing is just do it.
Okay.
Like for some, like I kept feeling like, okay, because I wasn't born rich,
Mm-hmm.
born with influential people around me,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't have a contact, I didn't have some lucky person I bumped into that could
Yeah.
mentor me,
Yeah.
that the world was against me. And it
Gotcha.
was me against the world. And part of that me against the world attitude really can push you and drive you.
Oh,
But it
totally.
can also hold you back sometimes
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to when it can have you feel maybe a little insecure.
Yeah.
And it can rob your confidence to a certain degree. And if I could
100%.
have just known, just grab all that confidence is inside, I
Yeah.
always think like if I can just get that chance,
Yeah.
I'll kill it. I'll
Yeah.
know it. I'll prove myself. But I need a chance. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that I didn't need someone to give me the chance. I needed to make the chance.
I was getting ready to say that, and I love that because, first of all, you said a lot. The mindset is everything, man. I mean, just like you said, and I've experienced that too. And I mean, I think all entrepreneurs have. I mean, it's like you think you're not good enough. You got to wait for this one more thing. I gotta have add one more comma to my bank account balance. I got to meet this other person, and it's like this. It's the people that say that they can, and the people who say that they can't. They're both right. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you discovered that, and once you do, you're unstoppable. I mean, it's like that's the key. So along those lines, what would you say was maybe your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that?
Oh. Biggest failure
Yeah.
was probably I had a real estate endeavor I went into with three other partners. It was four of us, four
Okay.
horsemen,
Okay. There you go. All right.
and we were all friends.
Okay.
So I thought it was going to be it was leading to a great thing.
Okay.
We had, because we were friends, we had that
Sure.
trust factor. Didn't have to worry about as much being backstabbed by some person with a different agenda.
Yeah.
However, I guess the biggest, it ultimately, it succeeded, it failed. It,
Okay.
it succeeded with two of us at the end.
I
Two of
see.
us dropped off.
Okay.
And I think the biggest failure in that was really, really communicating expectations
Okay.
more so in the very, very beginning
Got it.
of that relationship, of that business venture together.
Yeah.
Some of us didn't have the same work ethic, didn't
Okay.
have a desire to put the same level of work in that grind that you
Sure.
got to do on a startup.
Absolutely.
And then became very much uneven. And we would have had a better conversation on what those things looked like
Okay.
and what was expected, then maybe we could have worked together. Maybe we wouldn't have had all four of us come together, or
Got
maybe
it.
we did, but maybe instead of 25, 25, 25 across, maybe someone's at 10 or 5% because they're not
Yes.
going to do as much, but they still going to contribute.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
had it where it could have worked out better. But a couple of those people I don't talk to anymore either. So
Okay.
it kind of destroyed the friendship part as
Sure.
well.
Sure. I'm with you.
So
I'm with
it
you.
is what
And
it is. What it is. But I
well,
would say that was probably the biggest lesson right
okay.
there.
Well, that was a lot. You learned a lot there, and I think, I mean, and you're right. It's when you're dealing with people that you could consider a friend, you tend to be a little less, have a little less paperwork, kind of. You know what I mean? A little less, and I think that
Yes.
it should be the opposite, probably. I mean, I think after you experience that, you like, if I'm dealing with friends, particularly family, it's like, you know what, we got to have extra favor. I need extra attorneys. I mean, it could be
Yeah.
kind of, and like you said, then there's always a possibility that it can ruin the friendship. Sometimes now I just am like, if I know the person too well, I'm like, I don't know that we should, get into that kind of business relationship. So I don't know. I mean, but
It's kind of like marriage to me, Rufus.
yeah,
Like sometimes people get divorced because they got married too quickly.
okay,
Like the passion, the
yeah,
energy was there, and
yeah,
it was a high, and
yeah,
they rode it in the marriage, but
yeah,
they never talked. I want to have kids. You don't want to have kids. I like
sure,
living in the city with the
yeah,
noise. I like living on a farm where it's quiet. And then
right,
you're like, like I
yeah,
like the, like whatever, like all kinds of different things. Like I leave.
totally,
I want my bed made every day. I want to not make my bed. I don't know.
right. Oh,
And then
I'm
you're
I'm
like,
with you.
yeah, then
I'm
like I
with you.
can't live with you, and it kills it. But if you would have had those discussions beforehand,
Yeah,
you could have maybe had some give and take, or maybe you'd have realized like this isn't the way we do it. But if
totally,
we are going to go forward, you recognize it, you accept it, and you give and take. It's the same thing. I think any relationship, that's what it is. It is a marriage. It's a yoking of individuals coming together as a collective team,
right,
and there has to be a good communication, clear boundaries,
totally.
lines.
Otherwise, things get messed up. Yeah, and I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of communication, obviously that's a good tool. What other resources have been helpful to you along the way? I mean, if you had to name maybe the top two, three resources.
Top two or three resources.
Yeah.
Um, like specifically real estate or
Well, help you as an entrepreneur, even, it could be
okay.
real estate investing, but yeah, just resources that have helped you along the way.
One I would go with social media, especially like Facebook groups,
Okay.
because through Facebook groups and in real estate, there are a million of them, and there are
Oh,
a million
sure.
Facebook groups in any niche, really.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just get connected and see so many different people. You can and have relationships, and then you can obviously then become Facebook friends and
Yeah, yeah.
connect and network with each other. And in that, you can kind of really you can learn from other people's experiences, their failures
Yeah.
and their successes.
Yeah.
It exposes you to that. And I think learning from other people's experience is huge.
Yeah.
And the second part is outside of that, it's probably more like I'm big into audiobooks, but books
Oh,
period, whether
okay.
it's written or audio,
Yeah.
just reading and education. They've been a lot of the biggest things
Okay.
that have really helped me. So a lot of times I am personally with me, it has allowed me to validate.
Okay.
Like I really am confident that X, Y, and Z will work, and
Yeah.
that's the way to go. That's my instinct, it's my
Yeah.
logic, it's everything. But it's still subjective, and
Yeah.
because if I'm new, I haven't done it yet.
Sure.
But when you read it in the book, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the way to go and do it, you're like, yes, validate, I'm on the right path. You feel more confident. You see other people do that and have success, you
Yeah.
feel confident in your network.
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
like, yeah, so like that validation of confidence that you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
I think it's really immeasurable
Sure.
what
It
that
is huge.
happens.
It is huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of Facebook groups, I know that you have a Facebook group and you got like, what do you have, like 10,000 people? I mean, you got a really big group, man. I mean, in all serious, but it is like what, 5,000 people? It's a lot of
It's
people.
like, I think the last time I looked, it was around 6,000, 7,000. Yeah.
It's funny.
Mhm.
Guys that have big groups, they kind of are really kind of nonchalant about it. Like, oh yeah, it's probably like, it's probably have 6,000. Man, that's a lot
I,
of people, man.
I mean, I compare myself to other people who got like
Well,
20,
okay.
50, 100,000.
Sure.
I'm like,
Sure.
oh, this is peanuts.
Well, I mean, I guess yes, relative. It's all relative, right? But that's a pretty big group. I mean, how long? I mean, how long have you been growing the group? When did you start that?
I started that group, I want to say 2 years ago.
Wow,
Maybe
six
about 2 years
thousand.
ago.
That's a
It could be
lot.
three. I'm not sure. And I really kind of grew it the first year or two that I had it.
Okay.
Um, it was really, yeah, actually, I want to sit here and say it's really like 1 year that I really grew it. I kind of started it,
Okay.
didn't do too much with it. People
Yeah.
joined organically, but it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
But then I started doing like Facebook Lives.
I see.
I started really giving information to the
Okay.
community through it.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's when I really kind of grew to where it is.
Yeah.
And then for the past year, I've kind of taken a step back.
Sure.
Had a lot of stuff in personal life happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which so it just has maintained and grown slightly off that previous momentum.
Sure. Sure.
But
That's
yeah,
great. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm a member. I love it. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. But that's a lot of people. So you mentioned books. That's one I love to read. I love audiobooks. Are you on Audible?
yes, I am.
Oh man, that's
Yes,
crazy.
sir.
So I love it. So
I always get on Audible, then if I really like it, then I order it in paperback as well.
you know what? I do the
And then
same
sometimes
thing.
I'll read it while listening to it.
You know what, Stephen? I was just getting ready to say that. That's my favorite thing to do is to read it and listen to it. But here's what I was going to ask you. What? So what are you reading lately? What book really inspired you? I mean, do you have a book that's like your top book? I mean, or what are you reading right now? Anything? Listening to anything?
My top book is normally the book I'm reading right now.
Okay. All right. Right.
And right now I'm reading one that's not on Audible right now. It's only on paperback, but it's called the Perfect Day Formula by
Really?
Craig Ballantyne.
Okay.
It sounds like Valentine, but with a B.
Okay.
Craig Ballantyne. And I'm about, I would say, 2/5 through.
Okay.
Really, really good book. It's focusing on creating your perfect day for your perfect week.
Okay.
Really, it's time management, organization.
Gotcha.
And no matter how much I improve my time management, I realize that is an ever evolving skill.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's gonna be ongoing. Yeah.
And it's just the way Craig comes at it, presents it
Okay.
in the book, I think is really good. It really starts with defining your core aspects, your biggest whys, and really kind of bringing that in from that side into more of the meticulous details, and then going in really in depth with levels of like, okay, learning delegation, the in depth, not just the idea of, okay, mark these as this level and then delegate them. Okay, let's go further into that. So it really kind of just dives in deeper, not just conceptually.
Nice.
I'm loving right now. So I need it.
Hey, I need that too. I just wrote it down. I mean, it's interesting. I always learn new books from people when I interview them. So we're talking about books. What about people that have influenced you? I mean, there are like a couple people that stand out in terms of just how people that have influenced you along the way here.
They're not so much particularly in real estate.
Just in life, even. I mean,
like in life, like there are people like in marketing, like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I have a big disciple of his on like marketing side and content creation. I love that. A little bit of Grant Cardone.
Sure.
I've been to one of his 10X events.
Have you?
A
Okay.
lot of
Nice.
hype, and you're going to be he's always constantly trying to sell you.
Of
But
course.
that's also
That's
some
his
things with him
thing.
I take. Sometimes he can be a little over the top for me personally,
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
little too salesy. But
Okay.
there's a lot of good aspect of hustle,
Yeah.
a lot of things that have been there. But then for me, really, is people beyond business, and
Okay.
um, it's like I grew up. I was always attracted and a big fan of Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
I was
Nice.
a kid, like 13, 14 years old in
Sure.
high school, of my free period in the library,
Yeah.
and they would have like a big biography book like that thick, and I would be reading it,
Okay.
like nerding it up just about, is this something that spoke to me? And just people like that who are bigger, who are
Yeah.
making an impact on the world
Sure.
overall,
Yeah.
more influence me, because that's more of what my ultimate goal is.
No, that makes sense. Whenever I run into, and there've been a lot of people I agree that have made a major impact. Whenever they do something big, I feel like, man, I want to do that. I want to do something big. I want to be, you know what I mean? And not even so much for me, but it's like I want to, change the world. I want to help somebody. I want to, you know what I mean? So I totally understand what you're saying. Now you're located. Are you outside of the states? You're not in the states, are you?
No, I'm in the States.
Oh, you are.
I'm just
Okay.
often I'm just often not in the States.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool. So let's switch gears for 1 second here. So what about myths? What is a common myth? I guess from an entrepreneur or even real estate investor that you can debunk one common myth.
That you need to have a certain education level, you
Okay.
need to have a certain degree, you need to have certain training.
Yeah.
Um, I think that is one of the easiest ones
Yeah.
to debunk. All you got to do is have a level of determination, a clear idea, and be willing to put the action in to make it happen, and
Yeah.
you'll figure the rest out from there.
Sure, sure. And that sort of speaks to the thing you mentioned earlier about just maybe second guessing yourself, think you got to have a certain amount, be a certain amount, be a certain person to succeed, and you don't. You
Yes,
don't.
you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be educated, you don't have
Yeah,
to be well connected. All
yeah,
you need is the desire, an idea, and the
yeah.
willingness to show up and put work in.
I love that.
Even if you don't know what it is you're supposed to do, then take time to think about, what can I do? Make a
Sure,
list, and then start doing one thing after another. And where there's a will, there's a way, and that is something I've heard since I was a kid, and
sure.
it's so freaking true. The older
Yeah,
you get, you realize some of those sayings are just grounded in real truth.
absolutely. I agree 100%. 100%. What? So let me ask you this, Stephen. What? If you were on my side here of the screen, you were
Mhm.
asking the questions. What should I be asking you that I'm not asking you? I mean, what's something that you want people to know about that I haven't asked you about? Is there anything?
Um, I mean, one question I would probably come up with would
Okay.
be level of like why.
Okay.
I,
Good.
I just only because I'm curious, not so much I care about sharing my why. I
Yeah.
definitely will share it with you, but
Yeah.
it's more personally, I love learning people's whys.
Okay.
Why, like, why are you unstoppable?
Yeah.
Why are you, unconquerable? Why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you
Yeah.
doing these things? Why are you, busting your butt for all these hours? Why are you
Sure.
putting in that hard work? I think that's always a great question to ask.
Okay. So tell me why. What's your reason why?
The simple basic thing is, oh, I want to change the world. But
Okay.
my version of that, my way of doing that is making an impact on people's lives.
Okay.
I've learned to truly change the world, you got to help inspire people to be the best versions of themselves.
I like
And you
that.
have enough people that start being the best versions of themselves, it has a ripple effect that does change the world.
Got it.
Um, so, in every business that I have, I use business and entrepreneurism as a level of service towards that mission.
Okay.
I'm providing a service to whoever my customer client base is, and I'm doing that providing the best value, the maximum level that I can, even if I'm providing service that is not profitable for me. If I got
Okay.
to point them in a different direction that helps them out, then I'm providing that service to them. That the employees I hire, I'm giving them jobs. Often I hire a lot of people that are in third world countries,
Okay.
and I pay them more than other people pay them when they hire them.
Okay.
And I'm impacting their lives. I'm
Sure.
taking them that they're able now to support, when they have jobs in third world countries,
Yeah.
it's not just about putting food on their plate for their immediate family. A lot of times they're also taking care of grandparents, cousins, uncles, all kinds of different family members, and they're making an impact on people around them through me making impact by hiring them and then developing them, giving them more skills, allowing
Yeah.
them to get raises, have career paths, education, so they can further themselves. So it's like every angle that I do in business allows me to just try to impact people to make them better where they're at.
Yeah.
And then within that, obviously making more profit
Sure.
from the profit centers. I can then create other businesses, other avenues, create like I have ideas for nonprofits, foundations,
Okay.
other things of giving back. And it's just a growing way of just making the world better by providing service.
I love that.
Super passionate about.
Yeah, well, I can hear that. So using entrepreneurship as a way to change the world, but just one person at a time, impacting one person's life at a time. Because
Yes.
you can see that. I mean, I think that when people say, "Yeah, I want to change the world," I mean, that sounds like like okay, but I think you've brought it down to something that's tangible that you can really accomplish, and I can see, obviously, see you accomplishing that, but I can see. I can be inspired myself to say the same thing. That's what I want to do. Okay, what's my reason why? And it's interesting that you say the reason why is a great question. You're probably the second or third person that said that to me, so I'm gonna have to incorporate that. But I love that. So, and you hit on something else that was sort of leading to my other question. Well, actually, before I ask that, how can people connect with you? You, like you said, you've got a bunch of different businesses. How do they connect with you online? What's the best way to reach out to you?
You can find me on Facebook.
Okay.
You can do Super Empower. So super like Superman, M like man or marketing, and
Okay.
empower.
Okay.
Super Empower. You type that in on Facebook, you'll find my page, my business page, our group.
Okay.
You can do the same thing on Instagram, IG. You can do super.m.power, and Twitter, super_m_power.
Okay.
We're all around LinkedIn. You can go Super Empower. Also, you can type my name directly in, and you'll find me as well.
Okay. So a lot of different ways to find you.
Yeah.
Is super because and I don't know. Do you like Superman? Did we talk about this? I don't know. Maybe we did.
I did
Where did
like
the super
Superman,
come
but
from?
Super didn't come from Superman. I
Okay.
wanted Empower, but the domain was already taken.
Got it.
Because the company's Empower Solutions, and then I was like, okay, I need like a prefix for it.
Got
And
it.
I was like, super. I'm big into superheroes, all
Sure.
that type of stuff. We have that theme within our company.
Okay.
So within that, and again, that goes back to what do superheroes do? Heroes are providing service to
Yeah.
the community, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a force for good, so to speak.
That's right.
Um, so it kind of goes with our theme, our
Okay.
energy, and
Makes sense.
so
That makes a
roll
lot
with
of
it. It
sense.
kind of goes well. I kind of think.
Yeah, I do too. I love it. I love it. So here's a question. This was kind of piggybacking on what you said before. And we seem to be connecting in a lot of ways here, but we're gonna have to talk again here. But I started this show. The name of my podcast is Unstoppable REI. The reason why I called it that is because if you Google the term real estate investor failure rate, you'll see that 95% of real estate investors fail. All right, a huge number.
Mhm.
Sometimes people don't believe me; they think I'm just throwing that number out. But if you Google it, you'll see it. And so my idea was to talk to the people who are succeeding, like yourself, and find out. They're in the top maybe 5%. Find out what you're doing to make yourself unstoppable in an industry that has such a huge failure rate. So I have a two-part question for you. One, how do you define the word unstoppable? And then what are you doing specifically to make yourself unstoppable where failure is concerned?
Okay. Um, how do I define unstoppable?
Yeah.
By not stopping.
Okay. There you
Keep
go.
going.
Yeah.
Like it's a saying that if you find yourself in hell, just keep walking, keep moving.
I've
Right.
never heard that. I
So
like that. Okay.
yeah, it is. It's the whole. It goes with the Rocky theme. Is
Okay.
that how can you get back up? How can
Got
you
it.
keep moving? To be unstoppable, you
Yeah.
keep moving. And if I take it back, I don't want to go too big here,
Yeah.
but you go into life overall, everything living is in constant motion.
Sure.
Our bodies are in constant motion, whether the fluids, our cells,
Yeah.
quantum physics level, like we think we're touching, like literally all of our cells are apart from each other on a quantum level. Everything
Sure.
is all moving around. we're moving, the earth is moving around in circles, which is the earth is moving around the sun is moving in the galaxy, our
Yeah.
galaxy is going around whatever they call like super galaxies or whatever,
Yeah.
these different clusters. Everything is moving all the time. Be unstoppable, do what life does, live, keep moving.
I love that.
Death is stagnation.
That's right. You're right.
When you die, it's because nothing else is happening.
That's right.
All motion stops, or maybe you could look at it as another level transcending into another level of motion.
Yeah.
But it's the end of this part here. So
Sure.
if you don't want this part of the journey to stop,
Yeah.
keep moving. No matter what it is, keep moving. No matter what the challenge is, no matter how, or no matter how much you're winning, keep
Okay.
moving. Because people get stagnant of winning. They feel successful and they can take their foot off the gas pedal.
That's right.
And that can get you stagnant as well.
I love that. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I mean, fear or failure, you can learn a lot more from failure than you can from success, I think. But I also think that success, when like I said, when you're doing good and you stop moving, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
but you hit the nail on the head. Just keep moving. That's
Yep.
that's the secret to not being stopped is to keep moving forward. I like that.
It's kind of like I've experienced it personally every
Yeah.
which way from the very beginning of my journey. I just needed to start moving. And it took me
Got it.
multiple years to figure that out,
Sure.
to start moving.
Yeah.
And then I got successful and put my foot off and I started coasting a bit. And
Okay.
I didn't get totally stagnant, but I started having stagnation in certain areas. And I realized, okay, I got to put the foot back down again. I'm feeling I wasn't too cocky,
Yeah.
but I was feeling like, okay, let me enjoy my success
Yeah.
of it.
Sure.
And I realized, oh, I did that too much, because you
Sure.
should enjoy a little. You got to enjoy your
Sure.
wins. But I
Absolutely.
enjoyed it
A little too much. Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what, too? I think that what helps is being around the right people. I mean, number one, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Okay.
Yes.
You don't want to be the most successful guy in the room. But if you're around those type of people that drive you and push you, then it's contagious, I think. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it's positive, kind of that positive peer pressure, to
Yes.
force you now to everybody. This guy's doing this amount. I mean, and you know what, Stephen, I had to change a lot of my relationships personally, because I mean, it's like if okay. So if I want to make $100,000 a year, let's say, so I can hang around, people that are making 100 grand, great, that's cool. But if I want to make, say, $500 million in a year, well, I can't hang around a guy who's making 100,000, because now I'm losing money. I mean, I love you. We grew up together, whatever it is. But man, so you gotta move on. So I think that being around the right people is going to drive you to exactly what you're saying. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Such a big lesson to learn.
Oh my goodness.
And it's hard, because it's really hard for me. So I'm like, you get that feeling of, you don't want to like forget where you came from.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You don't want to like, back away from things.
Yes.
But it doesn't like, okay, I'm not friends with you no more.
Yes.
But it's a level of like, I guess, prioritization of those relationships. Different times, someone can be more of a focal point, or less of a focal point in your life.
Yeah.
You might see them every day, or once a week, once a month, once a year, once every couple of years.
Totally.
It can change back and forth. In dealing with that with family too.
Oh, dude, that's
sometimes
tough.
it's not just like you mentioned, like the getting around like the same income level.
Yeah.
Or it's also the same mindset.
Absolutely. I think it starts with the mindset.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And I don't want to give the impression that it's all about money for me, but I mean, I think, but you hit it on the head of success. Wherever you want to get to, wherever you want to, whatever you're striving to get to, you've got to be around people that are already there. And so, yeah, like you said, hey, we grew up together, and yeah, maybe we could go to a ball game, hang out, whatever. Cool. I still love you, but if I want to learn about whatever syndication, real estate, I gotta talk to these guys over here, because you can't help me with that. So
Exactly.
so we, what I mean. So there's no love lost, but it's just like you said, prioritizing the relationships, prioritizing your time, and you do have to learn the lesson, and and you can't take it personally, because I mean, that's, what I mean? That's just life, So
to me, it's like everything kind of breaks down to energy. And energy normally like synchronizes and settles. Like you'll have new things come in, it's a little chaotic, and then they all synchronize. It comes into a harmony.
Okay.
Always chaos to a harmony.
Yeah.
To order. So if you if you are if you're spending most of your time with people who are not as successful as you,
Yeah.
what that combination of that energy
Yeah.
harmonizes,
Yeah.
brings you the bottom person up, the top person down.
Exactly.
So
That's exactly
you
right.
kind of want, it's no, it's always good to be a top person
Yeah.
in some circles to
Yeah.
help elevate people out, but you
Sure.
need to make sure you are more of a bottom person to someone else's top
Yeah.
more often, so that way you're not being sunk down as much as you're being pulled up.
That's right. I agree with 100%. I mean, so
It's weighing that.
you're reaching up, but you're also giving back at the same
Yes.
time. You know what I mean? So it's both. So it's not, and I think that's a much better way in my mind to look at it. It's like, so you're not like leaving anybody behind, but you're reaching up at the same time. So it's like, I want to help you, but I need to, it's like the air at the air, on the airplanes, they say that if you, when the oxygen thing, what do you call them? The mask drops
Oh,
down. Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta take care of yourself
So
first
before
before
you
you
help
help
the
other
kid.
people. Yeah. So it's like,
Yep.
so you need to keep reaching up for more for yourself, but you also need to be giving back. So it's a combination of that. So
Indeed.
I could tell, dude, we would turn this into a 5-hour session. Because everything that you said, I'm like, oh yes, I'm right. I was thinking the same thing. I love it. So man, we're gonna have to definitely do this again. I really appreciate your time today. And any
Is
closing
that a
remarks?
49ers hat by
You know
chance?
what?
Once again?
Okay, yes, it is, but it's all about just the. I just wanted a black hat. I had know nothing about sports, Steven. I mean,
Okay,
you know what?
okay, okay.
And it's so funny because I might be wearing a red hat, and someone says, "Hey, is that St. Louis?" I'm like, I don't even know who that is. I'm the worst. I'm the absolute worst person. You start talking about sports, I'm a deer in headlights, and you know what I mean. So I don't know. So maybe you can teach me some sports lingo so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I
Hey,
have no
I just
idea.
saw that 49ers hat. It's
Oh, okay.
football season. I love
Yeah, yeah.
football.
Oh,
I'm from
yeah.
Baltimore. I'm a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. I
Okay,
was like, man,
nice.
if I knew you were wearing that 49ers hat, I'll get my Ravens hat.
Hey, dude, you know
Like,
what?
represent my team.
The next
Pay
time we'll
Lamar
do that.
Jackson.
There
Pay
you
Lamar
go.
Jackson. I'll put this message out here. Pay Lamar Jackson.
There, there you go. But the next time maybe we'll do that. We'll wear some sports paraphernalia. Because again, and it's crazy how many guys, and there's some guys, and I don't know if you like this, that just know all the stats. They know the, hey, what is your Thursday? Yeah, so and so's playing so and so. It's like,
For football, I'm deep into that.
are you okay?
Other sports, I'm more pedestrian.
Are you
But
okay?
football is my sport.
That
Yes.
is okay. Well,
Yeah, I love the NFL.
you'll have to teach me some football stuff so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And
you come around here. I got season tickets to the Ravens. Bring
okay.
you to a game with me, man. Come hang out.
Oh, hey, I
Throw
will
down
be
some
there.
beers and watch a game.
Hey, it's a day. We'll definitely do that, man. But thanks for the time. I appreciate it. And I'll let you run. I know you got stuff to do, but we'll talk again real soon. All right.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Steve. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right,
Okay,
take care.
All right, bye now.